Welcome to Tech Brothers with Amir. In this video, we are going to learn how to load multiple text files from input folder to SQL Server Table. We will be also learning how to zip each of the file and then delete from the source folder. In this video, we will be learning following things. We will learn how to read multiple files from input folder as we already explained. Then we will be learn how to use the data flow task. We will learn how to use the package parameters, and then we are going to learn how to use the Foreach Loop Container to loop through the files as well. Then we will be using script task. Inside the script task, we are going to learn how to change the .NET framework from 4 to 4.5, and then finally we will learn how to add assemblies such as system.io.compression and system.io.compression.filesystem, so we can use different classes and methods from these assemblies to zip those files. Let me take you to the folder, and in the input folder we have two files as of now. There is customer, and let me open this one. So I have ID, name and address. I have ID2, name Raza, and test address. In the other file I have ID1, name Amir, and some address, so it is test address. If you guys notice that both files have the same metadata or the same number of columns, you can have multiple files with different metadata, but in that case we will be handling inside the SSIS package. Once we read the file by using a name or maybe by header validation and all that, we will make a decision which data flow task we will be using to load those files. In this case, these files are the same structure. I have a video how to load different files in SQL Server tables when their input columns are different or they are different files. Even the names are pretty much the same, but once you have the different columns, you can do a lot more. You can find out with the different techniques. You have header validations and all those kind of things. You can read the first header, then validate against your definition table, and then make a decision which data flow it should be going. Anyways, once we want to load the files, and then finally we will be loading these files to the customer table, ID, integer, name and varchar. We have address is also varchar 100. Let me create this table, and this table doesn't have any data as of now. Now let me go to the archive folder. Once we load the files, we want to delete them from the source or input folder, and we want to archive them. We want to archive each file individually, so we don't want to put in one folder. So I will be having another video where we put in the same folder. Let's go back here. Open your bids or SSDT SQL Server Data Tools, and then let's create a SSIS package. Now right click here, new SSIS package, and rename this one. We are going to call it load, zip and delete. That's what the name of this package is going to be. So the very first thing what we need some parameters or variables. That's where we are going to save our input folder path or our archive folder path. I always do that. Why? Because these parameters or variables can be used in the configuration, so we don't have to change the address. We don't have to change the package for each of the environments such as UAT, prod or QA. The only thing we need to change is the configuration value, and these packages will be able to make use of that. So always create parameters or variables and use the configuration. And here we call it archive folder, and here I'm going to put the archive path. I try to make it a little fast. I don't know, that doesn't work with me. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna keep working hard here. So we have two parameters. If you are using old version such as SSIS 2008 or 2005, you can go ahead and create the variables, so you don't have to create the parameters. So variables or parameter, whatever the version you have. Let's come back to control flow. Now we need to read these files, and we will be using Foreach Loop Container. Let me open the Foreach Loop Container here, go to collection, and then here we will be going to the expressions property, and we will read the files from the input folder. So we in the directory we are going to map that to input folder. Parameter, if you have variable, then it will be variable. In my case it's package parameter. Hit OK. And here, as you can see that now it is not going to use the C: folder anymore, because we have provided the values of directory equal to package input folder parameter. So that's whatever the value in this parameter is, that's what it will use. Now you can go ahead and define what type of files you want to read. In my case I want to read only .txt files. If there are other files in this folder, I don't care about them. Now you want to select name and extension here excuse me, and then we will go to variable mapping. Here we create a new variable, we will call it file name. We are all set. Now this for each loop is going to loop through those files one by one, and then we need to load them. So let me bring a loading process. We need a data flow task here. Now inside the data flow task we need the source. So we are reading the flat file source, we will get flat file source here. Let's make a connection to any of the file. So now if I go here and I'm in the input folder, select any of the file, because this will be overwritten when we will run the package. It doesn't really matter, so it will be overwritten. So each time we will get the new file name when the package will run. Column names in the first data row, yes, that's true. I'm going to go to columns. Columns are coming correct, advanced, and I'm going to change the data type for ID. That's not string, it is integer. And also I can go ahead and change the data length or width, whatever you say, from 50 to 100. String worker, that's fine. DT string is worker, so we are fine. I'm making it to worker 100, fine. Go to preview, looks good. Now return null values from the source as null values in the data flow. If you have some blank values and you want to read them as null, so check mark this part. Go to columns, everything looks good. Next part, we need to load this data to the destination. In our case, we will be loading the data to the SQL Server Table. So I can use OLEDB destination. Here I will be making a connection to the database. So if you want to create a new one, you can go ahead and select your server name and database name. I already have it, so hit OK. Here we will be selecting the table. So I have DBO customer that we created by using this DDL. So that's fine. Select the table, go to mapping. Column came correctly. They are mapped automatically because the names are exactly matching. If you have different names, so then you have to kind of go in the drop down and select the whatever you want to map from input to the destination. So in our case we are all fine, all good. But if you see that when I was making a connection for the flat file, I was pointing to one file. So here what I need to do, I need to use the expressions and use the file name variable. So on each of the iteration the file name is going to change, so I'm going to make use of that. So I will go to flat file connection properties, and then I will go to expressions, and then here I will go to the connection string. So I have to provide the input folder plus the file name. So that's a complete path for the file. So that will be read and loaded to the SQL Server Table. Now we are all good. If I run this package now, it is going to load the files, both of the files. But we don't want to just load the files. We want to go ahead one step ahead and then archive those files and then delete from the source folder as well. So I will be using script task here. Let me go to script task, bring the script task here. Once the file is loaded, we want to go ahead and zip it and then delete it. So each time it will be loading the file, zipping it, and then deleting it. So double click on script task. Here you will be selecting all those variables and parameters. So I have two parameters, package parameters. I have archive folder and input folder parameter, and then I have one variable, that's a file name. So I can use both of them, actually both types. I can use variables, I can use package parameters, I can use project parameters as well. So hit OK. I'm using Visual C#. In this case you can use VB if you like. The very first thing we need to do, as we will be using a system.io.compression class, we have to change the framework, because in .NET Framework 4 we don't have that class, so we have to change to 4.5. So click on the solution here, go to properties, and here we'll see in the application we have a target framework 4. We will be changing to 4.5 now. Okay, close it, restart, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with that. Next we will be going to reference and then adding assemblies. So assemblies are available. We have .NET Framework 4.5 now, so that's what we are using right now because we have changed from 4 to 4.5. And we will be going here, io.compression and system.io.compression.file system. So we'll be using these assemblies. Hit OK. We can close this one. Now we can go ahead and write our script. We are all set. First of all, we will be going to namespace and adding those namespaces. So we will be using system.io.compression. Okay, that's good. Now we can use the methods and classes from there. And what I like to do, I like to use or create the local variables and then use those SSIS variables or package parameters here, because every time you don't want to write the whole thing. Once you create the local variables, you can go ahead and then use them. So I'm going to use create a couple of them. So we'll say string file name, and that should be equal to dts.variables, and then here we say user, and that was file name, square parentheses values dot to string. I could have just wrote this script and have it ready, but somehow I didn't do it, so it's alright. I'm gonna write it quick. It's not a whole lot script. And second part, we need file full path, and that I'm going to get by using dts.variables, and I will be using the input folder. So I will be saying $ package, and then we will say input, hold on one second, input folder, double quotes, parentheses, value dot to string. And if you notice here in the variables we are using user, and when you have a parameter you will be saying $ package. So that's the difference, but still you will be using .dts.variables. That's how you will be writing it here. As I'm saying, I need a file full path, so I can have it, I can make use of this variable here, plus I want to add file name, and that's all. That's what I was saying. Once you create this variable, you can use it. If I would not have this one, I have to take the whole thing and paste it here. So that kind of make it messy, and you have to keep pasting so many times. And another thing what we need archive path. So I'm going to build that as well. String arc path, and I'm going to use the same thing. We will copy and paste here. We can paste this part and then change to the archive package parameter here. Instead of input folder, we can use a archive folder. These are case sensitive, so just make sure you have everything correct according to the case as well as the spellings. So you have to take care of that. Next we have to say .value, that is already there. And what I want to do, I want to create the complete archive path. So this is the archive folder path. So I need the file zip file name as well. So what I can do, I can use the file name, and then my file has extension .txt. I can replace with the txt with the .txt with, or maybe just txt at the end. I rather do .txt because there could be possibility the file name can have maybe inside somewhere .txt, even it's not possible, but I just want to make sure I don't do mistakes. So I'm replacing the file name, that's customer whatever it is. In our case we have input folder here, and I'm replacing this .txt.zip. So that's how it will go to the archive folder and then have the same name but zip extension. And let's go back and fix our code. Now we are all set with the local variables. The last thing we need to do, we need to add this file to the zip file. Now for that we will be saying using, and here we will make use of one of the classes, zip archive is equal to, that's the instance we are creating, and we are saying zip file dot open. So I'm opening a file, and here I will say an archive path. So that's what I want to open. Once I open it, so zip archive mode dot create. So I'm creating this one. Once I create this one, and next part what I will be doing, I will be adding the file. So I created the one second, the parenthesis here. Now the zip file is created, but we have to add the entries here. So in our case we know that zip dot create entry, that's the method we are going to use from file, and we will say input, let me see, we have file full path actually, that's what we need here. If you want to check, copy this one here, and then we will send file name, and that's all. We are all done. So we are creating an entry or adding this file. This is the file, and if you take a look on this, the parameters for this method is saying you will be adding a string source file name. So we have provided that as well, and then we want whatever the name you want to have it for it. So in our case we want the same name, dot customer underscore datetime dot txt. So that's how we want to enter. The last part, what we have to do, we have to delete that file. So to delete that file we have to add another namespace here using system.io. So that's and then we will be making use of this function. We'll say file dot delete, and here we have to just provide the string path. So we will say input, sorry, I always make a mistake here. So file full path, that's what it is. So that's it. Next time I might have it ready for you on the script, and then we don't have to spend time here in writing, and I can just walk you through. Everybody has different choices. Some people say go ahead, write it one by one, and we want to know what you write. Some people say why not paste it, and we can understand. So anyways, creating local variables, and then creating the object, and then creating empty zip file by using this method, and then we are adding an entry to that zip file, and finally deleting that file. So each time our script task is going to run after loading of the file. So we have input folder, we have two files here, and then we are all set here. Now let's go ahead and run the package. The script is going to be available in the on the blog post. You can go ahead and you can check the link in the description as well, and otherwise go to sqla.blogspot.com and it will be there. Let me go to the folder here, and the files are loaded from the input folder. We don't see that anymore, it means they are deleted. And now we go to the archive folder, so we can see that those files are zipped. Let's double click and see what is inside. So we can see the text file, they are inside of each of these zip file. So each zip file has its own text file. Now the last part, what I want to do, we want to go to the table and take a look, and if the records are loaded, so we see that this came from one file and the second record came from other file. So that's how you will be loading multiple files in the SSIS package and using a script task to zip the file and then delete the file from the source. So I hope this is a lengthy video, I know, but you have learned a complete package, and I'm sure in the real time you will not become adding or creating this package in the 20 minutes. There would be requirements and all those kind of thing, and you will take your time, and there would be other consideration you have to take in. Let's say files come with different column names. What I do in that case, maybe you will be adding some error handling here and redirecting the rows which doesn't match or data type doesn't match for some of the records. So you will be doing a lot more. Watch my videos. I have all different type of real-time scenarios where you can learn all those packages in the detail and how to handle multiple or different scenarios. So thanks very much, and I will see you next video.